Hey everybody, this is Sam Mowers here. Now, just before I cue the interview with Jay, the occasion for our talk here is the recent news that VSBLTY is collaborating with Photon-X, which is a developer of sensor technologies that enable biometric verification, document security, CGI motion imaging, and photo mapping on advanced camera applications to help screen for persons who may be infected with COVID-19 as they enter buildings. So without further ado, here is Jay Hutton.
Jay, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
So it was just announced that VSBLTY is collaborating with Photon-X to develop advanced camera applications to help screen for COVID-19 infections at building entrances. Could you outline what both firms bring to the table here in terms of technology for this solution?
Sure. We've been aware of Photon-X for probably a couple of years now and been threatening to do business with them and develop with them. We were just waiting for the right time. And tragically, although I suppose opportunistically, the virus has given us new metrics. And I think a principal application for what smart buildings are looking for with respect to temperature sensing is perimeter detection of audience coming into a building. So not only are we using facial recognition, a core capability of VSBLTY, but also doing what we would call a wellness perimeter, checking for the overall health of people that are entering a facility. You could talk about smart buildings, large commercial buildings with 4,000 or 5,000 people working in them. You could talk about manufacturing facilities, which have that or potentially more people working in them. You could even talk about venues. When that world comes back to us, we'll be looking at new normals, ways to screen individuals as they enter into a facility. This is, of course, historically and traditionally VSBLTY domain because we do facial recognition on the fly. We sense people and identify them as allowed or not allowed into a specific facility based upon their face. But now in addition to that, we're screening them for health. And what inspired us about the Photon-X relationship was not just that it had the ability to do temperature capability at distance, 3 to 8 meters, but also respiration and heartbeat. You think, why does that matter? Well, one of the things that's sort of the dirty little secret of temperature sensing is that it's only surface temperature. We obviously don't have the ability to cut people apart and do a core temperature as they walk into a building. We've got the ability to sense their surface temperature, their skin temperature. And there are places on the body that you can sense that are remotely from a distance that are more accurate than others. So we do that, but you still have a surface temperature issue versus core temperature. And the true indicator of wellness isn't surface temperature, it's core temperature. You could be running hot on the surface, but not hot, in the core. So adding the capabilities that Photon-X uniquely delivers, which is respiration and heartbeat, creates more definitiveness in that calculus. Whereas temperature sensing can be exposed to a fair degree of false positives. When you add those two other metrics, then you decrease the likelihood of false positives. We want to be among the pioneers of doing this wellness perimeter detection capability. Temperature is one piece. Facial recognition is of course, another piece. But when you connect heartbeat and respiration, we think we've got significantly more capable camera capability.
Why do you think cameras that have the ability to check temperature will become necessary as the economy opens back up?
Well, there's two components to it. One is, if I'm an employee that's working at a manufacturing facility, I represent a risk to my employer if I'm carrying the virus with me. And in this time that we're in between now and the appropriate remediation, therapy, and or vaccine, the ability to identify persons that may be running outside of parameters in terms of temperature, that's important, not just for an employer, but for the employee as well. The employer might be looking at it from a legalistic point of view. What's my liability if, one person infects another person? But also there's a productivity piece. What if 2/3 of my manufacturing line goes down in 1 week? From the employee point of view, I don't want to go to work if I know that there's some probability that my workmates would have the virus. So this is just mitigation. This is just an ability to create a little bit more safety and assuredness for employees as they're going back to work. And this is not being discussed, at least in the conversation at the moment, about a possibility. This is a certainty. This technology will be applied. What's unknown is how long it will need to be applied for. Are we entering a phase in our growth as a planet that this is the new normal, or is this just immediately post-virus and for some number of months after that? not known. But that's really what's driving our innovation.
Now, you mentioned smart buildings. Can you tell us what specifically denotes a smart building and why this new capability is relevant?
So smart buildings have a fairly comprehensive and advanced access control. There's this notion of areas that people can go, areas that people can't go. If you're an employee that works on floor number 17, you're not likely to need to go to floor number 16 or floor number 18. So this is the whole notion of not only smart power systems, which is a component of the broader category smart buildings, but access control. Well, where is it that I'm likely to go? And can I ensure that if a person is not authorized to be on a particular floor, they won't be on that particular floor? In addition to that, I want to make sure as an employee, how many employees do I have in the workplace at any one time? Are they staying physically distant from one another, which is a sort of a post-virus thing? And can I, at any place in time, can I know exactly how many people are in my building and what where they've been, how long they've been there, et cetera. These are all parts of ensuring that we've got efficient and productive work systems. This particular category is really exciting to us. We got lucky because our core technology can take in IoT, Internet of Things sensors really efficiently and incorporate that in visualization layers, user interfaces that make a lot of sense for buildings. So we've got this opportunity to incorporate temperature sensing, heart rate, and respiration as other components, other data fields, and we think that puts us in a very unique and rarefied spot. We already have an enormous pent-up demand for this suite of products, so the challenge is on us at the moment to make sure we rapidly bring it to marketplace and do so in a way that is competitive and cost-effective.